Hey everybody, how's it going? We're gonna talk about fucking big lizard movies again.
It's the Anime Trilogy of animated plant monster.
Is it really a plant?
I
or
don't
is
know.
it all just lies? Again.
I don't know. The fan base seems to think that these are bad solely because Godzilla is plant-based.
I think most of them forgot he's supposed to be plant-based.
I think the fucking directors and writers
We'll get
forgot
into
he
that
was
later.
plant-based. Yeah, anyway.
We'll get into that later. So, we're gonna talk about the Godzilla Anime Trilogy now that all 3 films are out on Netflix.
Oh boy!
Which, if you didn't know that these exist, well, they exist, and they're on Netflix. So you can watch them.
Anytime!
So if you want to watch them before we, get into it here, you can just leave the video, come back after you watch them. Or if you just want to listen to us so you can figure out if you actually should watch them or not, be our guest.
Yeah. But be warned, there will be spoilers.
Oh yeah, I guess spoiler warning. Yeah, spoiler warning, because, look, these are on Netflix, you have no reason to not watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Godzilla fan, you've already seen them if you wanted to.
And if you're in Japan, these have been out for months. So
yeah, we're a couple months late on Planet Eater, but that's okay.
We were a couple months late on all of them.
Yeah, well,
I mean, in terms of us right now, Planet Eater only came out 2 days ago at the time of this recording for Netflix.
yeah. So whenever you're seeing this, the movie's fresh in our heads. Still fresh.
Still fresh, but are the movies fresh? We're gonna find out. To begin, I guess we'll start with just like what we first thought when we heard that these existed. Because they announced this back late 2016, I think, right?
Yeah, late Shin Godzilla hype.
It was after the Shin Godzilla came out and after the limited run by Funimation, I think. So I think it was around November when the news dropped that they were doing a Godzilla anime.
Well, when I got my Japanese 3-disc Blu-ray of Shin Godzilla, I got a postcard of Monster Planet in there, so...
Well, that's because the Blu-rays didn't come out till March.
Was it really March?
I'm pretty sure it was like March.
Jesus, time flies. But anyway, what did you think about the existence of a Godzilla anime?
I'm gonna tell you, my immediate first thought was, huh, cool.
That's it?
And that was it. It was like, oh, cool. We'll see what they do with it.
My first thought was, holy shit, how is it taking this long to have a Godzilla anime? I know there was a Godzilla anime beforehand, and it was all chibi and cute and all that, but...
You're talking about Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, those are also partially just commercials with math inside, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's surprising to think that it took this long for there to be a Godzilla anime, and the first thing that came to my mind was, oh wow, hand-drawn Godzilla, that'll be fun, and then I saw that it was gonna include a 3D animated studio, Polygon Pictures, and I was a little worried because I had seen something that Polygon had up on Netflix at one point, and it looked a little meh. So
was that Blame?
Nah, it wasn't that.
Was that them? Was that them?
Yeah, I don't know. No, it was something to do with space.
I'll flash up on the screen whether or not it was them. I'm sure when I first got announced, I was probably thinking something like, I'm surprised it took this long, but we'll see what they do. It seems cool. Mm-hmm. Then I think shortly thereafter, they revealed that it was going to have like that sci-fi future setting, like, oh, post-apocalyptic future.
Which I was all for,
admittedly,
wow.
Because admittedly, we haven't seen that yet, so that could be interesting. And like, I feel like, I don't know if we mentioned this in a video before, but it's like, it's kind of surprising that, oh yeah, we definitely mentioned this in the videos before, that like, Godzilla, Ultraman, these guys have always been like really special effect heavy things that really would benefit from animation, even though they've always only ever been live action.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm surprised they wouldn't try to do animated for like intense fights and everything.
Yeah, and ironically enough, no real intense kaiju fights happen throughout the trilogy, but that's okay. Yeah. It's not what they were going for.
We'll get that. I mean, I'm going to try to like save that for like the like the thoughts for all of it, but
Yeah.
And then as the months went on, we found out more and more about this, like how, oh, Godzilla's gonna be plant-based. I was like, oh, interesting. We'll see what they do with that in the movie. That could be cool. Then we found out about the Servum, and like, oh, these are monsters that sprouted from Godzilla. Like, oh, cool, interesting. We'll see what they do with that in the movie. And like all these vehicles and all this stuff, like, cool, we'll see what they do with it in the movie. And then eventually the movie came out. And generally, the answer was, they don't really do anything with it in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because, like, at the time when Planet of the Monsters first came out, I was still on a Shin Godzilla high, and where everybody found, like, a problem with it, I kind of just still enjoyed it. But at the same time, I'm a Westerner. I want to see, monsters fight, and I was expecting some kind of fight, especially with how the movie opened up, with like Orga, Kamacuras, and all them. And I don't
think I expected an actual fight with them. I just expected the monsters to like be in it rampaging. Because usually for like the first of a series, Godzilla doesn't ever really fight another monster typically.
Yeah, it's mostly just humans versus Godzilla, which I like. So,
like, I figured the fights would be safe for the other two.
Yeah, and then after we saw... Well, okay, I'm not going to go that far. But, yeah...
We'll get to that when we get to the city.
Yeah. I essentially thought that Planet of the Monsters was the essential first episode, the build-up, the introducing you to the world, introducing you to the characters. Again, further proving that this should have been a show and not a trilogy of films, but I won't get into that just yet.
I want to say that for, like, the end, but I agree with you on that.
Yeah, like, we'll
generally,
save...
it's like... we're going to be saying that a lot, aren't we? Because, like, a lot of the things we can say for one of these movies, we could probably say for two or all three of them as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the complaints kind of, like, stay throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
They don't really ever fix a lot of the problems with it.
They just kind of get better on their own.
They just kind of like do other things while keeping things the same in other places.
Yeah, exactly. But Planet of Monsters, I mean, you get opened up to a sci-fi future world that has Godzilla in it. That's friggin' awesome. Like, wow. I mean, yeah, it does kind of open up a little edgy at some points, but...
That's probably just because anime, they're trying to like go like the whole, oh, we're anime, we can do anime tropes and people will be okay with it. Because I will say, some of this does venture into tropes, like you have Haru, who, fun fact, did you know that Haru's name is a reference to Haru Nakajima, the guy who played the original Godzilla?
Oh my god, I totally did not know that.
It's not like it's obvious or anything. I mean, if you don't know anything about Godzilla at all, you wouldn't know that, but just saying.
But if you know anything about Godzilla and you didn't know that, then, I mean...
Then shame on you, I guess. I mean, not really.
Yeah, I really don't know where I was going with that one. That sounded very
If you don't, then I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. If you don't, I don't care.
If you don't, well, you do now, so just act like you knew it.
And you can thank SpaceTree and Shinrab for that. Hey.
Just call me William.
Oh, yeah, William. That guy.
Just call him Rob.
Yeah, just call me Rob.
Yeah, just call me Haru.
And
fun fact, Haru in the English dub is voiced by Chris Niosi, who you would know as Kerbifer from Brawl Taunts and Tome.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, when I first found out about that, it was like 2 days after I first saw it. I'm like, I wonder who voiced Haru, and I looked up. Chris Niosi. What the fuck?
Holy shit, worlds collide.
And like immediately after I watched it, like the day before, I went on Twitter and found out, Yuko, her name is Yuko, right? Mm-hmm. Because I keep forgetting. Yuko is voiced by Christina V, who you would know as Shantae from the Shantae games in Marinette/Ladybug from Miraculous.
Wow.
And a whole bunch of other anime.
Wow.
You know the pig from Seven Deadly Sins? That's her too.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that one. Oh.
I'm Sahawk, Captain of the Order of Scraps Disposal!
Wow.
I've never heard of that order before.
She's done a lot. She can also sing. Listen to her cover of Bad Apple. It's great.
Oh, sweet. Will do. An awkward moment when you play a pig when a pig is written better than an actual human. Huh.
In the sense that the pig is actually written.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just the whole build-up to Planet of the Monsters, just like, these are cool ideas. I hope that they don't blow it with the actual movie.
And in some senses, they didn't. And in other places, they kind of did.
The thing with it was just, like, in general for the Anime Trilogy, the ideas they have are better than the actual movies themselves.
Great ideas, piss poor execution.
Like, I wouldn't even say it's so much bad execution, it's just...
That's why I said
really
it was
executing
piss poor.
it at all. They don't really execute it either. It just doesn't really happen.
Like, I just feel like there's just so much untapped potential. I realized that they were going for more of a human drama than a massive kaiju movie. But
Okay,
at the same...
I might as well just say this now. Saying that they're going for a human drama doesn't remedy anything, because that's not new. That's not revolutionary to this genre. The original film focused more on the human drama. Yeah. Shin Godzilla focused on the human drama.
Godzilla
King Kong,
1984.
The Host.
Ooh, great movie.
Like, monster movies have always focused on other things besides just the monsters.
Yeah.
The ones that only focus on monsters tend to be like the ones that people like less, like Megalon or something.
Hey, I love Megalon. That was a gem.
I like Megalon just because, like, how goofy it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, gem with the fan base, how, like, some of the movies that just, like, Monster Pro Wrestling kind of get, like, more disdain just because, like, that's what people think, because that's where, like, the cheesy, like, how people think Godzilla's so cheesy comes from those movies.
Yeah. Like,
they get the blame for that, which it's true.
It is true.
Saying, well, these movies are more about the human drama than the kaiju, that should go without saying. That's not a defense.
That's Godzilla.
That's not a good excuse. Like, these films have
Godzilla.
been doing this from the beginning.
That's Godzilla.
So, I'm like, just saying, well, they're going for a human drama. No, that doesn't work because they've always been doing that.
Godzilla has always had human drama in it. That's not a new key factor that just so happened to pop
Monster
up with
movies
Shin
in
Godzilla.
general have been doing it.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I understand that they were going for a more human-focused idea. Like, they really, really wanted you to watch the humans, to like the humans, to interact with the humans. I don't know how you would do that. And to give a shit about the humans. The only problem there is that...
They're very basic characters.
Extremely. That's why I call Yuko Bland Potato Waifu, because she is bland and she is potato.
I like Yuko because it's Christina V, not because it's Yuko.
I
like it because I like the voice actress.
Okay, there you go. But their whole thing was, like these characters.
Like,
Do it.
is just like general anime protagonist who wants revenge. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a character straight out of Attack on Titan.
He basically just is. Which is funny because the guy who worked on Attack on Titan did the other Godzilla movie.
Yeah, they both did.
Oh, yeah, because Hideaki Anno Evangelion. Like,
And he did Attack on Titan.
It's funny because the guys who did like monster things before they did the Godzilla thing tended to do better Godzilla movies.
Yeah, and they did.
I mean, we'll probably like get into that later with the directors.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that was partially blown out of proportion, but you know. Take a shot every time we say we'll get to that later in this video.
They're probably already drunk.
Alright, so I watched the movie, and overall my impression, I liked the film, but that came with the caveat of, this is a setup movie. It'll be vindicated by what happens in the other two. So I liked it on the grounds that I thought that the other two movies were going to do a lot more with it.
Yes.
And I think that as a first film, it works. Like, okay,
it does.
You see what they're going through, you understand the plot, And the action is okay right now. Like, yeah, it's pretty basic. They're just running around in the Tron bikes.
Yeah.
Just shooting at a big lizard. But, like, you know, it's fine. It looks good, I guess. It's fine. It works.
Yeah.
It's a setup. We'll see how it is. Solid 7 out of 10.
I stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch that because I was just so excited.
I did not.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure because I had other stuff going on the day it came out with school that I actually watched it the day after it came out.
Rob didn't.
William was a senior in college.
Rob just started his new job, and boy did he regret it the very next day. Because Rob didn't get any sleep.
What are your priorities?
Well, you see, I'm going to have to ask that I would be able to show up an hour later than I'm supposed to, because a Godzilla movie comes out tonight, and I'm staying up until an unreasonable hour just to watch it, make a video of it, have the video upload and fail, and then have to re-upload it at 6 a.m., and then maybe get like 5 hours of sleep before having to log on and go to work. So
I'm never hiring you to do work for me, I'm just saying.
Hey, I operated perfectly fine, and I had a good first day that day. Mostly because
I might hire you. Actually, I'm already hiring you because of this video. Never mind.
Exactly. And mostly because I don't have to leave my house to go to work.
And mostly because I don't have to pay you.
Well, yeah, that too. These services are free. I would not charge. Hell no. My services are not good enough to be charged for. Anyway.
And that's why I didn't deliver that fridge. The end.
Hey, man, I had to drive to fucking who the hell knows where just to get there. Wait outside in the blistering cold.
Do you want to tell them the story?
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Do you want to give them the context of this?
I bought my grandmother a new fridge. And I had to wait.
It's okay, these are basically podcasts. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, okay. So I bought my grandmother a new fridge because her old one broke, and I had to drive out and, yeah. Wait. Anyway.
Okay, I thought there was way more to the story after this. Okay, never mind.
I mean, the guys showed up.
Wow, that payoff was way less than I thought it'd be. Just like Godzilla Planet of the Monsters.
I would say just like Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, not so much Planet of the Monsters.
No, because at least you got what was advertised.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Rob buys a fridge. Better than Godzilla. The end.
True.
Put down a poster. Refrigerator. Almost as good as Godzilla Planet of the Monsters.
Refrigerator. Planet of the refrigerated items.
It's just as cold. Less things can live on this thing than the other thing.
Attack on Furon City.
It's like the fridge is a perfect metaphor for Earth in these films. Cold and nothing can survive inside of it.
And it's pretty bland on the inside. Ooh.
And there's some mold.
Yeah, that too.
So, the movie opened... okay, do we want to go by beat or just general thoughts, I guess?
I mean, how long do you want this video?
What was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, my favorite part of the movie easily was the first Servum attack. That was freaking awesome. I loved every second of it. It was short as shit, but the very first Servum attack, it just... I feel like Toho has a boner for the movie Aliens. Because aliens kind of pop up in Godzilla movies every now and then, or at least a reference to it, a la Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And I just thought that was aliens with bigger monsters. And I really, really liked it. You got to see the human tech, you got to see people reacting to it, you got to see people die, you got to see the Servum creatures die, and then shortly after that we see Godzilla. It was fun. I liked it. What was your favorite
You know
part?
what? I just realized we never talked about the big marketing push for the first movie.
What was that?
So, the lead up to the movie, one of the big selling points of the film was that this was supposed to be the biggest Godzilla in the series.
Oh yeah, all 300 meters.
Yeah, like how big is that in feet again? Is that like 1,000?
It's really, really big.
Let me look that up real quick.
Will's going to do math real quick.
But like this was set to like it still is the biggest Godzilla.
I'm
in the
going to
series by
advocate
default,
for Godzilla in
just
Super
when
Smash
it,
Brothers
and
Ultimate.
the reason
Here's
they were able
why
to do
this
that is
would
because
work.
it's animated,
Chapter
so there's that
1.
regard.
Ridley.
However, what they actually end up doing with him over the course of the series, you really, especially in City on the Edge of Battle, you can't really tell he's that big.
No, because Mechagodzilla wasn't in there to size him up. Yeah. Yeah. The whole twist ending and everything of the Godzilla that they've been fighting wasn't really the Godzilla that, you know, was going to be the main nemesis of the movie. It was kind of wasted because the marketing was the biggest Godzilla ever, yet the Godzilla we saw for 90% of the first movie was a normal-sized 1954 Godzilla.
Yeah, the one that he fight in the main movie itself is 50 meters, which was the size of the original Godzilla in most of the Showa era.
Yeah.
And though it technically wasn't false advertising either, because a lot of the shots you see of Godzilla in the trailers were of the giant one at the end of the movie. The problem is you see the trailers and that's all of his scenes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it was false advertising. It was just like that twist at the end is somewhat, you know, moop. Because you're kind of expecting, like, you know, that's the thing with trailers.
It's the first movie. They can't kill Godzilla in the first movie.
Yeah, well, that too.
Because then it's like, well, why are these two called Godzilla if he died in the first one?
Well, in Gojira, he died.
So you kind of figure
one.
after they... Well, okay, but that was also because they didn't know there was going to be a second one. Or a 29th one.
Or a 34th one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of, I knew it was coming. Not to sound fucking, what's the word I'm thinking? Douchey. But I knew it was coming.
Well, I feel like everyone kind of saw it coming because, again, this is the first in a trilogy of films. We know he's not going to die. That you know they can't win in the first movie.
Oh, believe me, I know a couple of people that were thoroughly surprised at that ending. Don't worry, I won't name you guys.
I'm going to assume because they didn't know it was a trilogy yet.
No, they knew it was a trilogy.
What, did they just assume that there were going to be other monsters in the movie anyway that they had to fight?
Well, before they saw that final scene, they thought there was, you know, more than one Godzilla.
And then there were more than one Godzilla and they got surprised by that?
Yeah.
They knew there were going to be more than one Godzilla, but then they were surprised at it anyway?
Yeah.
So they just didn't think they would be right, okay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
One thing that I'm going to say that I kind of mentioned this, that like he doesn't really do anything that makes his size apparent. Because like you never really get that great of a scale of just how big he actually is.
I think the closest thing we get to that is him attacking like the giant ships. I think that might be like the most major sized up portion of him, and the really like far away shots when you see him walking. But like even then it's like, okay, that's like every Godzilla shot from far away. Like he's a big hulking fuck.
Also I looked it up. 300 meters is roughly 984 feet.
Jesus tat dancing monkeys. That's a big boy.
So just under 1,000 feet.
Wow.
He's the size of a mountain, basically.
Now let me make 3 videos on how Godzilla Earth could absolutely crush Cloverfield Monster at the end of Cloverfield Paradox.
How big is the one at Cloverfield Paradox again?
I don't know. Everybody assumes that it's like 18,000 feet because its head comes through the clouds.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. That could just mean it's standing on top of a mountain.
Exactly.
That happens in Pacific Rim Uprising, where he's climbing a mountain and he goes above the clouds.
Yeah, well. What are you gonna do?
And another thing, I'm gonna say that, like, for this film especially, there is nothing that they do that needed to be animated. Because, like, even the space stuff, like, okay, well, Star Trek... like, the actual, like, on ground, yeah, that can easily just be live action. The fights with him, there's nothing really that they do in this movie that really
couldn't
made a
have
point
been
of
done.
needed. And I'm wondering, like, was it actually cheaper for them to make these animated, or would it have actually cost less to do live action films?
You see, I don't know. Because I feel like if they were to produce an entire show, like let's say 24 episode show, I feel like that might have maybe come up to around the same price as it takes to make a Godzilla movie. Maybe. Just because, you know, team, software, all that other stuff. Hiring artists, you know, all that.
Also, we didn't really get into this, but the fact that it's CG, like, when I saw the first trailers, it looked kind of off because, like, the frame rate wasn't as good as I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of choppy. I got used to it, but, like, it looked choppy when I first saw it back in, like, July of 2017.
I mean, the Godzilla movements in the first two movies were pretty janky.
Well, he also doesn't really move that much either.
Yeah, but when he did move, it just, it like, you know, I don't know. It felt a little janky to me. Maybe I'm just nitpicking.
I guess we should probably talk about Godzilla himself and what his abilities are. Like, in essence, it's basically the same thing he usually would do. It's just shown a bit differently. Like, instead of the atomic breath outright coming out of his mouth, it looks like it's more like a Kamehameha. Like, you see a little plasma ball in front of his face, and then just like shotgun blasts out.
Yeah,
because it really isn't a continuous beam. It's just like a burst.
Somebody, I don't know who. Somebody said that his beam, and the reason why it's not coming out of his nose, but why it's coming from, like, not out of his mouth, but it looks like it's coming out of thin air. Somebody said something about parts of his little electromagnetic shield clashing and just making a bazoom.
That would make sense, at least.
Yeah.
And he also has, like, that tail beam.
That he used once.
That's he only used it once, but it is kind of cool.
Oh, it's really fucking cool. I love that.
Like, okay, I can see why you'd want that to be animated, because in the actual Godzilla movies, whenever he does move his tail,
it's wires.
It doesn't always look that great at all.
Yeah, it's wires.
Like, you can tell it's wires.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever he, like, picks someone up and throws him in the old movies, it's like, why is the monster moving before Godzilla's arms?
Why is he all floppy? Wouldn't he be trying to brace himself? Oh, there's nobody in the suit. That's right.
Oh, yeah. It's made of rubber.
I forgot about that. Golly.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's funny, because I think I mentioned this to you before, but a story. My one friend, he doesn't know much about Godzilla, but one thing he does know is Jet Jaguar. And one thing he always said, like, he knew that it was a guy in a suit. Thing is, what he meant by that, he thought that in the actual film, it was a guy in a suit controlling the robot.
Oh.
And then the suit grows and he's controlling, like, a mech. And then one day I'd explain to him, no, when you heard that it was a guy in a suit, that literally meant that, yeah, all the monsters are guys in suits when they're filming, but in the context of the movie, it's a robot. In the context of the movie, it's just a robot. There's nothing in there.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, he was the valedictorian for our class.
Wow. Hey kids, if you want to stump a valedictorian, just show them a Godzilla movie.
Oh, I mean, any other valedictorian probably would also get stumped if you just show them, because they're like, what the fuck is this? At least my guy, at least, he knows meme culture, so it's fine.
Oh,
he goes to Reddit, it's okay.
I'm tearing up right now because that was truly fucking hilarious.
It's okay, he's one of my friends. He knows how this stuff works. Like, he's probably crazier than I am, probably.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So it's okay.
It's okay.
He's that kind of smart guy.
Good. We need more of him in the world.
Punch, 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 indeed. And after that batch of tangents, we're gonna talk about, like, horror, I guess, now. Let's
yes.
just talk about the plot. Let's just talk about the plot. So the movie starts out. There's like it sets the stage. Like you see like still images of Orga, Dagora, Dagara, the Kamakarus for some reason because he existed.
Yeah.
And just saying up like, hey, monsters showed up in the early 2000s and started fucking shit up. Eventually Godzilla came out and killed everything and took over the world, so humans had to evacuate the planet and have been traveling space for about 20 years. Time dilation occurs, and when they do go back to Earth now, it's been like 20,000 years or whatever.
And I just want to say, I would totally watch another 3 animated movies showing humanity leaving Earth, constructing Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla destroying all the other monsters.
You're talking about like, the prequel books, right?
Yeah, I would love to see those animated.
Because there are 2 prequel books that happen. There are 2 prequel books. Was there a 3rd book? But I don't think that was a prequel, right?
I don't know. I've never even heard of the 3rd book, so...
Okay, maybe they didn't do a 3rd book, but there were 2 other books that actually detailed the events that led up to humanity evacuating. And, the books are way more interesting than what happens in the movies.
So I've heard.
Let me put it to you this way. In the 2nd movie, there's a Gigan. And what it is it's actually a good Gigan. It's actually on the human side. It fights for them. And you actually originally see it as a purely biotic life form.
What the fuck?
So they have a
Pictures.
Gigan. There's a Gigan that is not robotic yet. And then after he gets like hurt in a fight, humanity like, this guy tried to save us. We're gonna help him out. So that's when he gets like the hook hands and everything. And then later on, then he gets the Final Wars version.
Dude.
Like, that is such a cool concept. Biotic Gigan.
Why wasn't that in the movie? Oh, okay, let's leave this alone because we're gonna go into a whole nother world with that stuff. But that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like, that's the kind of stuff that happened in the prequel novels.
You see, I want to see that.
Basically, every monster in the series was in the prequel novels.
So I missed out on another Orga brawl.
Probably. There were also multiple of each monster, too. I think there were, like, 2 Anguiruses at one point. So they were just, like, they were, like, actual species. Like, there were multiple of some of them. Like, there was only one Godzilla at the time, because we just said there was a second Godzilla in the film. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, wouldn't it have made sense if there were multiple Godzillas? Like, have the main Godzilla Earth, but then, like, multiple Godzilla affiliates?
Huh.
I feel like they kind of forgot about that.
They might have. Or, if there's like a third... no, never mind. That was dumb. Yeah, I guess they forgot about it.
Just be different. So, okay, like, we also forgot to mention, like, while they were, like, trying to evacuate or whatever, they had multiple plans. Like, they build a Mechagodzilla to try to fight it, but it never gets to take off because Godzilla destroys that center before it launches. They get help from 2 other alien races that found Earth because they had their own plants also destroyed by monsters, so they're trying to help them out so they can live there too. The Bilisoludo and the Exifs. And also, I just want to say the Bilisoludo, their actual names of each one of them are just the stupidest names ever.
Galoo goo goo.
Yeah, he's not even joking with that. That's like almost one of their actual names.
Yeah.
It's like Galagoo and like really long, like just sound effects. It's like,
yeah.
Is this a fucking Looney Tunes show?
It sounds like you recorded a baby, put it on a vinyl, and then started scratching the vinyl as it was playing. So, yeah.
It's basically take the lyrics from Witch Doctor and turn that into a Godzilla character.
There you go.
Ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, and Ting-Tang, Walla Walla, and his cousin Bing Bang. As they stop the giant lizard.
See, this
coming
sounds
to
like
theaters, never.
This sounds like a Hanna-Barbera show.
There was a Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, though.
Yeah, I know.
And that came up with Godzuki.
Yeah, I love Godzuki.
And Godzuki.
Okay.
It's like that theme song is like so intense, like Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla. And
Godzuki.
Well, you killed the tone massively there.
Yeah,
He just gets in, like, slapstick routines on a boat.
I'd take Godzuki over Minya.
I would take Godzilla Jr. over them both.
Oh yeah, obviously. Godzilla Jr.'s the boy.
I mean, all three forms of them, too, because, like, they each have a different name.
Yeah, little Godzilla's adorable, though. Ugh.
Yeah. That's what Minya should have been. Actually capable.
Instead, he was a...
Actually kind of looks like him in some ways.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
So eventually they have to leave Earth. At one point we see a child named Haru running to the Space Center with his grandpa or whatever, or someone. And then he's like, where's mom and dad? And then he sees one of the exifs, rubber, and he sees Godzilla destroying stuff, and at that point you know, ah shit, Godzilla killed his parents.
So now we have an atypical anime grudge on our hands.
He's now an orphan in an anime. This can only go so well.
And his favorite word is bastard.
Yeah, they kind of use that a lot, don't they?
Yeah, I was really hoping for merchandise of Haruo's face screaming on a shirt and it just saying
Godzilla, you
bastard in
bastard.
Japanese. Yeah.
Because like when I heard the trailer, I heard
bastard.
Like whatever that word he said at the end of the trailer, it's like I didn't know what he was actually saying, and then watched the dub, and it's just like the last line of the movie is Godzilla, I'll kill you, you bastard.
Yep.
That is the last line in the movie.
Yeah, well, it's not like Toho would allow him to say Godzilla, you fucking troglodyte.
Godzilla, you silly fuck. So generally when they get to the planet Earth, it's 20,000 years in the future now, which, also when they get there, Haru, for some reason, is now a captain, but he also, like, did stuff he wasn't supposed to and, like, held people hostage or whatever. What did he actually do at the beginning of the movie?
He wouldn't allow somebody or something to launch the elderly people. Something like that. He had bombs. Fuck, I literally just watched this movie 2 days ago.
It's like he does something to get on the bad side. Like, he's a captain now because I guess he was, like, good at what he did. But, like, they're trying to find a new planet to inhabit it, and they get, like, a bunch of volunteers onto an escape pod to go try and find it out. But Haru won't let them because he thinks they're gonna die if they go down there because, like, they have no idea what that planet's like. So he gets arrested.
His grandparents are there.
Yeah, his grandpa's on there. So they launch the pod, and the pod explodes in orbit.
And we find out why.
We find out why, because there were bombs on it.
Yeah,
right.
But who put them?
We'll find out. We'll find that out later, but
yeah,
much later, in 2 movies later.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about that plot point entirely by then. Like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I shouldn't have been.
Well,
no, I was surprised that they remembered to answer that question. That's why I was surprised.
I forgot it was a question. And yeah, so Haru is arrested. He's kind of like a fugitive, and then eventually they like talk and said he works with Methy, who's one of the exifs, to like come up with a plan to defeat Godzilla in secret. And then someone convinces everyone else, let's just go back to Earth. Maybe Godzilla's dead because it's been 20 years. Maybe he died or whatever. And then, like, well, time dilation is a thing that exists in this universe, I guess. So while to them it's only been 20 years, they don't know how long it's actually been on Earth. They get there, it's been 20,000 years since humans have lived there.
Oh,
so the entire planet has a completely different atmosphere. Well, I mean, can they still breathe normally?
Yeah, they took their helmets off.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But the ecosystem has completely changed, and once they do get there, well, they find some radioactive electromagnetic waves, and they hear a familiar roar.
Screon.
And they're like, oh shit, Godzilla's still alive somehow.
How? You old bastard!
But then, like, someone showed them Haru's plan, like, okay, well, this could actually kind of work. Okay, we'll send Haru and a couple of volunteers down to Earth, scope out the situation, and maybe kill Godzilla.
Win-win.
So that's the setup. Everyone goes down there, they engage Godzilla, who is still alive somehow. They do the plan to, like, overload his shield armor and just blow him up. Which, that's the one thing I'm like, how are they going to beat this thing? Oh, they just literally blow him up. Like, he explodes like a nuke.
Yeah, they literally did the equivalent of putting a battery in a microwave, so...
They just, like, blow him up. Like, I was surprised. I thought they were just, like, kill him and have his corpse fall down. No, he explodes. There's nothing left.
And all of his remains look like wood chips. It's kind of funny. But a cool little detail.
The only detail they remembered that he's supposed to be a plant.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be a plant, he never does anything that's actually plant-based. He doesn't have, like, any vines or anything. They never, like, bring it up at all in the movie. Like, they don't comment on how he's kind of like a plant.
Which I think is a missed opportunity. It would have been cool
to see. They never
comment
on that, which makes me think they only made that up in interviews and that wasn't actually the point.
Like, it would have been cool to see Godzilla actually use, like, the terrain around him to do things, you know? I mean...
Would have been cool for them to do a lot of things, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well... He could have been like Space Godzilla with foliage. That would have been cool.
Yeah, or just, like, take a page out of Biolante's book because, you know, Biolante had Godzilla DNA in her.
And a dead daughter soul.
So they could have, like, done... Well, he took many souls. What's that? Godzilla actually has the souls of Haru's parents for some reasons.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, I said he because I'm talking about Godzilla, not Biolante.
Oh, well, okay.
Gosh, Rob.
Gosh, Will.
I am Gosh. Just call me Gosh.
Okay, Osh, Gosh, Bagosh. Fuck.
So then the other dude, because I don't remember anyone's name in this movie besides Haru, Yuko, and Galagu and Metphies.
Martin?
Was that a name of a character?
Yeah.
Okay, who chose Martin as a name?
You know, I was looking through all the character names earlier, and there's a very big variation in names. There's someone called... The guy that sacrificed himself, I think, in City on the Edge of Battle, the cocky, douchey scientist guy. His name was Elliot.
And then you have Martin. And then you have Bing Bang Balaboom.
Yeah, Goo Goo.
You have Metphies, which, okay, that's kind of a cool name. Though when I first heard the name, I was like, well, like a parody of like Mephistopheles or something. And then the third movie came out.
It's like, yeah.
Maybe, I'm like, oh wow, was that fucking intentional? You fucking silly fucks. So after they beat Godzilla, the one dude says, you know, I was doing some digging. You know how those serpent things came from Godzilla's body? What if another Godzilla came from his body? What if there's more than one Godzilla? Like, do you really think that's possible? It could very well be. 5 minutes later, a mountain explodes and Godzilla shows up, and he's like 1,000 feet tall. Oh, hey, you know that thing we said 5 minutes ago? Yeah, it's true. Also, the movie's over.
Also, a bunch of our people are gonna die within the next minute, so...
I mean, there are already a bunch of people that died during the actual fight, and now even more people are gonna die, like, with this.
Exactly.
And then, so, the movie ends with Haru calling Godzilla a silly bastard, and then you get the credits scene, which shows Haru waking up somewhere else, because I guess he fell asleep after that.
Oh, he did. He got knocked out.
He had enough conscience to call him a bastard, and he just falls asleep.
Yeah.
But he wakes up in a cave somewhere with a tribal lady, and then you look at her head, you see fuzzy eyebrows. That aren't her actual eyebrows, just painted on her face.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was kind of a cool note to end on, because it's like, oh, there's still some life left on Earth that's partially human, I guess.
And those things on her forehead kind of look like moth
You look at those
antenna.
things, like, those look like moth eyebrows.
Yeah. I wonder who she could worship as a god. Probably Gabara. Totally Gabara.
Yeah. Arnez worships a Gabara, it's okay.
Yeah. Love you, Arnez. You're not watching this.
He's not watching this.
No.
Maybe Steve will. Probably not.
Love you, Steve.
Planet of the Monsters, Monster Planet, whichever name you wanted to go with.
There's 3 of them, so.
Kaiju Wakase.
Godzilla, Kaiju Wakase.
I liked it in terms of being aesthetic, because, like, okay, not the best, but, like, I'm sure they're gonna do more of this. It's an interesting idea. Hopefully, the next 2 are good. And I was, like, optimistic for it. Like, I understood why it got mixed reception. But, like, I thought it was fine. And I'd still probably watch this one over City.
Yes.
Though I'd watch Planet... I'm going to say this again when we get there, but I'd watch Planet over both of them again. I'd watch a lot of the other movies over these, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I loved the movie when I first saw it. Obviously, after a couple more viewings, you know, it kind of died down. The shine got a little bit duller. But overall, you know, being what it was, which was a setup for a larger world, I think it's the second strongest film in the trilogy.
I feel like everyone would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question real quick.
What's up?
You watch way more anime than I do, so you know more about anime. Do you think if you're an anime fan, do you think you'll enjoy these movies more?
Ooh, you see, that's a tough question because there's so many different kinds of anime fans. You've got the people that only watch Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, and they need... Like, I feel like for different anime, like, lovers, this will be either a hit or a miss for them for different reasons. Like, for some reason, I don't see, like, casual anime viewers, like, really enjoying this too much. Aside from, oh, it's Godzilla. So, like, I really don't know, because this is a very typical anime. Like, it's very typical, and literally the only thing that tears it apart from every other anime is the inclusion of Godzilla in it.
So what? At the end of the day, what you're saying is watch Gridman instead.
Actually, yeah, watch that. Definitely.
So, the movie came out November 2017 in Japan. We didn't get it until it came out on Netflix in January 2018.
Yep.
But I do want... Okay, so... And then the day of release in theaters in Japan, the poster for the next one came out.
Yeah.
My immediate reaction to that was, already? And then I saw the date, May 2018. I'm like, already?
Yep.
Because when they first announced this, I thought it was going to be like, okay, so it's going to be one a year every November. Okay, cool. Oh no, they literally were releasing these things all within a year. Okay, sure, yeah. We'll go with that.
Now, imagine being friends with somebody that works at a theater in Japan, and literally, when you know nothing about the movie, your friend tells you, oh, hey, Mechagodzilla is going to be in the second one.
What?
Well, my first thought to that... Oh, okay, like, well, the teaser image was just that one, like, the red city and everything, like, the weird red stuff, and then you just saw the head of Mechagodzilla in the anime films.
Yeah.
My first reaction was, what the hell is that thing? Oh, that's Mechagodzilla.
I love it!
The hell it is!
I feel like I'm the only person in the world that really, really likes Mechagodzilla 4.
Okay, well, at that point, all we saw was that one image, and at that point, it's like, that's Mechagodzilla? What?
Yeah, he is...
The answer, we got the answer later on that's the head of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. I understand it's a drastic fucking redesign, and it really doesn't look anything like Godzilla, and I guess that's why I like it so much. I don't know.
Okay, the whole body itself, you can at least understand what they were going for when you put it next to, like, it at least has, like, okay, it has that vague dinosaur shape. But when I first saw that, like, that looks more like just a spaceship in general than it does Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. You had to look at that image a couple of times to really get the point of, oh, okay, I see that.
I don't think anyone got the point until, especially over here, until they actually saw Planet of the Monsters and saw that like 2 seconds of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
So like the whole marketing push for this movie was Mechagodzilla's gonna be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not the fault of the people actually writing the movies and making them. It's just the fault of the marketing department.
And boy,
because
did
they never should have put so much of the time and energy on Mechagodzilla in the advertising.
Yeah,
because
it's true.
Spoiler alert: Mechagodzilla is not actually in the movie at all.
He's in the poster, he has a figure, he's got a bunch of key change, and he's got some vinyl cutouts, but he is not in the movie. He doesn't do anything except rebuild a city. That's it.
You do not see the actual form of Mechagodzilla at all.
Unless you buy the figure.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Instead, what actually happens is that the Bill Studio had this stuff called nanometal that they used to make the Mechagodzilla in the first movie. Time passed, well, that stuff doesn't go away. It just, and it duplicates itself. So over the 20,000 years or whatever, all that nanometal multiplied and formed a giant city.
Hence Mechagodzilla City. Hence City on the Edge of Battle.
That being said, the city itself looks more like just a factory than a city, because none of those really look like buildings.
Yeah, so really should have been called Factory on the Edge of Battle, but that doesn't sound too fun.
Okay, another thing. When the movie was first announced, and there were all these rough translations of the title, I just heard all of them like, Mobile Battle Breeder City.
Yeah.
City on the Edge of Battle. I'm like, I'm going to wait for them to announce the actual title.
Yeah,
because all these names are stupid. There's no way he's gonna. All these sound stupid. No one's gonna. They're not actually gonna use these as a title.
See, if they used Breeding City, that would have made sense because it bred weapons and all that. But mobile, I wouldn't have called it mobile.
We wouldn't have understood that aspect until the movie actually came out. But I'm like, there's no way they're gonna call it any of these. I'm gonna wait for the actual name. And then it was confirmed that no, the actual name is City on the Edge of Battle.
Yeah.
At which point, that sounds like the most direct translation thing you could have ever given me.
Yeah. You see, that title screwed me up because when I was looking at the poster and, you know, roughly just how big Mechagodzilla was, I thought, like, the remaining people on planet Earth actually used the carcass of Mechagodzilla as a city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that point.
Like, that's what I thought it would have been.
If there is, like, they built, like I said, or found, like, a city, or like, it had to do with that tribe, and they're all gonna, like, team up and fight him or something.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happens. Mechagodzilla is the city. And, okay, refresh my memory, does the city itself really do anything to him?
It shoots at him.
Does it, though? Because, like, I know the vultures are fighting him, which are the new mechs the humans use, but, like, did the city itself really shoot at him?
Yeah.
Okay, my memory is just, like, messing me up then.
And they made the spear thing that they stuck in his back, and, you know, all that stuff happened.
Because, like, one thing to point out, they're like, hey, a city fights Godzilla, that could be cool and original. And then I actually thought about it and realized, what's the difference between a city shooting lasers at Godzilla than a tank shooting at Godzilla?
Yep. It could have been... it could have been.
That's something that sounds like it's more interesting than it actually would be, because even if the movie was better, no, that still wouldn't have been that impressive, because it's like, well, what's the difference if this thing shoots at him than another thing?
Yeah. Like, city on the edge of battle, like...
Also, I want to point out, though, that title is also very literal, because, yeah, the city's only on the edge of battle, because there really isn't much of a battle in the movie either.
Yeah, so the battle is literally right about there before it turns into anything huge.
The edge of battle, as in the battle will be in the next movie. We're only at the edge of it.
So this is the beginning edge of battle.
So I guess that in that regard, they didn't lie to us.
Well, they, I mean, aside from showing Mechagodzilla and all the promotional art, they technically didn't lie to us. Technically.
Yeah, they were honest. They were never said there'd actually be a fight.
Well, they never did. So
yeah, they never said there'd actually be a fight, so it's okay.
Yeah. But still, it would have been nice to see Mechagodzilla fully reformed, a little bit bigger, try and take out Godzilla.
So, I think okay, I'm just gonna say it. The movie in general, it's basically the exact same movie again.
Yes.
It picks up where it left off last time. They all wake up, they find the Mothra tribe or whatever. They explore Haruo, Yuko, and the two Bill Saluto dudes go into Mechagodzilla City. They find it, they do the plan to fight Godzilla, and it's very much the exact same plan again. Only difference is that this time it doesn't work because this Godzilla is bigger, and thus he's able to control his energy better and turns into Scarlet Godzilla instead of blowing up.
And that was fucking awesome. So you can't say this movie was a total failure. We got Scarlet Godzilla. That shit was awesome. Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, he looks cool. It's just not much really happens otherwise. It's just the same movie again. And I feel like one thing this film did better was because it was a second movie, so obviously they were able to add more character development. We got to spend more time with the characters.
Yeah.
We learned more about them.
And the sci-fi aspect was further thrown out because, we're learning about nanometal. We're learning about the capabilities of it. The science and the tech around this movie was really, really good, personally.
Yeah, this is probably this is the most sci-fi Godzilla's ever been with these movies.
Yeah.
Because, usually because a lot of times Godzilla films get classed, there's kaiju as a genre, but then, they'll also typically get lumped into other genres too, additional, they usually get lumped into sci-fi and horror.
Yeah.
Just by nature of it, because why is it in horror? Because monster. Why is it sci-fi? Because sometimes they go to space and they explain how they fight these monsters. So that's what gets it to be the sci-fi.
Yeah. I mean, this movie essentially is the weapon porn movie.
Well, I had a class about sci-fi in college. It was a seminar, and they did say one of the main things, what actually makes something science fiction is if they actually explain the science behind it, because the science actually does need to be important for it to really be classified as legitimate sci-fi.
So in that case, City on the Edge of Battle.
That's why Star Trek is more hard sci-fi, whereas Star Wars is classified as more science fantasy.
Yeah, because Star Trek, wow.
Because you can't just be in space and automatically be sci-fi.
Yeah.
That doesn't instantly classify it. You need to have an actual reason. This is the most legitimate sci-fi Godzilla's ever been.
Oh, 100%.
And the character development is better. The ideas being at play are cool. It's just I don't hate this movie. I don't hate this movie. It's just it's the most disappointing in the series.
Yeah. But it's weird because most of that is solely based on expectation because we were expecting Mechagodzilla.
Well, also because, again, I mentioned it's still very much the exact same movie again. So in that regard, while it does improve in some areas, it's still objectively a bad sequel because it's the same movie again.
Yeah.
It doesn't push the envelope any further. It's it's a bad sequel because it's the same movie again. They don't really improve on the stuff that needed fixing.
Yeah, you're right. I would definitely call it the worst of the three, though.
Oh, absolutely.
If I had to gun to my head, this is definitely the worst one.
And, I don't really think there's much to really say about it in retrospect, because I thought we'd have more, but, in reality, it's well, that's basically all we need to say. The marketing, misled everyone, because we thought there was going to be a fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla when there wasn't. Yeah. And it's very much functionally the same movie. There are some ideas that are the tribe has telepathic capabilities. That's cool. They don't really do much with it. The fight is basically the exact same fight again. You don't really get that good of a scale of Godzilla, so you might as well be the same size as the last one.
Yeah. And the tribes people are essentially super evolved insect people, so there's that too.
They don't really go into it that much, though, do they?
No, they really don't. I read that. I didn't hear that.
Because I just assumed they were still just humans that were left on Earth and just adapted as the years went on, because it's been 20,000 years.
But, again, definitely the worst of the three. Good sci-fi.
Yeah.
They like you said, they did a better job with the characters, and I mean.
And I like that one song they played when they first found Mechagodzilla, and it was like do 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 do.
That too. Oh, that's another thing.
City on the Edge. The Zeiss songs later, but like one thing, say what you're gonna say.
City on the Edge of Battle had the better score. I will say that. Planet of the Monsters score was meh to me personally. City on the Edge of Battle, between those two, had the better score, hands down.
Yeah. And I will say, I think that City on the Edge of Battle has the best title screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, that's basically all we can really say about it.
Yeah,
it was a misleading film, and like, I was anticipating the release of the first one. I wasn't like so much overly excited for it because it was just because like at that point I heard the reception at that point, so I was just anticipating to see what it would be like. This one, however, after I heard some of the stuff about how like, and like at that point I already knew that Mechagodzilla wasn't in the film.
Yeah.
And everything at that point, I'm like, I wasn't really excited for this one at all. In fact, at some points I kind of forgot it was coming out.
See, I didn't forget. I just didn't stay up until 3 a.m. to see it. I tried to, but I was like, fuck it.
I eventually got to the point where like, oh yeah, that's coming out soon. And like, I think like it also, I guess technically came out around the same time for us as it did them, because we got it sometime in July.
Yeah, we got it pretty quickly.
Like, it felt like we got this one faster than we got the other two.
Yeah, because I feel like they started dubbing all of the movies around the same time.
Well,
I feel like...
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, so that explains it. But my friend in Japan, he told me, he was like, if you're expecting Mechagodzilla, don't hope too hard for that.
He told you Mechagodzilla's gonna be the next one, and then months later, like, actually, never mind.
Yeah, he was like, don't hope too hard on that. He looks cool, though.
Is he your hookup for getting all the theater exclusive merch?
Yes, that is Tom. Hi, Tom. Love you.
Oh, cool. Tell him to send stuff my way.
Okay.
He won't. It's fine.
Gee.
He doesn't know me.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, and very much like the same as this one, once City on the Edge of Battle came out to theaters, we got the poster for the next one. And let's mention the post-credit scene first.
Okay.
Oh, also we forgot to mention, Yuko kind of sort of almost dies at the end because they try to infect everyone with the nanometal to make them stronger humans, because the Bill Saluto kind of turn on the humans.
The
two Bill Saluto members that are with them die, and Yuko goes into a coma. Haru is unaffected by the nanometal for whatever reason.
Say the joke, Will.
Oh yeah, Yuko gets put into a chroma. And yeah, the post-credit scene has Haru talking to Mephies, and how he brings up, hey, you know how I mentioned that a monster destroyed my planet? His name is Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
And then you see the poster, and it showed 3 heads on a black background.
And
well,
that...
3 heads, those 3 necks.
That is where the major disappointment started to set in for me with the anime trilogy. Because, let me explain myself real quick. You have over 60 years worth of kaiju to choose from. And I get it. King Ghidorah, he's fucking popular. Why didn't you pick a different kaiju? Like, why did it have to be King Ghidorah again? Aside
Especially
from the fact,
since he's going to be in another one this year, too.
Exactly. It's like, why couldn't we get Space Godzilla? Why couldn't we get Destroyer? Why couldn't we get any other kaiju aside from King Ghidorah? Space Godzilla, in my honest opinion, would have made more sense.
Well, I think they would have had to explain why Space Godzilla exists, because like they would have to come up with a completely new origin story for him.
That's true. And don't get me wrong, I love the new origin of King Ghidorah. I love that, he's essentially not technically in the movie.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Which he's in the movie, but he's not in the movie, is what we're saying.
Yeah, he's there, but he's not.
They would have had to have chosen a monster from space, and there really aren't as many space kaiju in the series as you'd really think. There's Ghidorah, there's Gigan, there's Space Godzilla.
But since this is a whole new story, you could have rebooted any kaiju. Any.
Like, you probably could have made an excuse for why Megalon's in space.
Yeah.
If they didn't do the biotic Gigan in the novels, they could have chosen him.
Or Destroya could have just been a mutant alien space crab.
Or they could have made something up.
That too.
They could have made a monster up. And, like, when I heard, oh, hey, Ghidorah's gonna be in the next one, that's cool, what an anime Ghidorah could look like. I heard, like, the complaints, like, oh, they could have chosen anything, they chose Ghidorah again. Because, to be fair, Toho does kind of have, like, a tendency to do that. It's like...
They play
something's
favorites.
Not... And, like, well, it's not so much playing favorites as the playing it safe. Because they're choosing the things they know will do well.
Well, they're not doing that now. Thank God.
Because, like, you had, like, oh, Biollante didn't do very well. Put Ghidorah and Mothra in a movie. What's that? You want to make a movie with Varan and Anguirus? Put Ghidorah and Mothra in the movie instead.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's understandable because the Heisei series was kind of going downhill in terms of numbers. And the Millennium series...
There were only 2 movies.
Huh?
Well, then again, there are only 2 movies for both of those cases.
Yeah. But, like, the Millennium series, like, that's when things started getting, like, you know, really, really shaky. It's like, oh, great, Japanese Godzilla's back, and who cares? And then...
Actually, you know, it's actually the exact same pattern, too, because it's like Ghidorah, Mothra, Mechagodzilla.
Yep. Pretty much.
Because what came after GMK? Tokyo SOS and against Mechagodzilla.
Not in that order.
And what happened in the opposite order. And then you had the Anime Trilogy. You have Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah, and, spoiler alert, Mothra.
Spirit form silhouette Mothra.
Theater-exclusive Mothra Bandai vinyl cameo.
I would have killed myself if that was an actual thing.
Well, that may as well have been what was in the movie, because, like, it was a cream-colored silhouette of Mothra. That easily could have just been a Bandai vinyl.
I would have loved the ever-loving love out of that. I would have paid for it.
I'm surprised they didn't do that. Besides the whole spoiler aspect.
I'm surprised, too. Gotta love that we got
Maybe
a
for the new
figure of
movie.
Ghidorah. What?
Maybe for the new movie they'll just do that instead.
Oh, they will. They will.
Because I'm sure they'll have theater-exclusive Bandais for the Japanese release.
Yep, and those will be $90 for like 6 months, and then when everybody forgets about them, they'll be, you know, an easy 60, 70, and then when, you know, shit comes out again, they'll be crazily expensive.
You mean when G-Fest rolls around?
I gotta go to G-Fest. Let's go to G-Fest together, Will.
Money.
Oh, yeah.
So we saw the poster, so we found out, okay, so Ghidorah's gonna be in the next one.
A little bit upsetting, but alright, bring it on.
So, at this one, it was kind of when I stopped kind of caring about these films, after this one, I just didn't really, it's whatever. Like, I wasn't excited for this one to come out, even though I knew it would be, like, at that point I heard that was probably the best one.
My excitement was mixed, because literally the day that the movie came out and the poster was revealed, Bandai was all like, oh, hey, check out our new series with the Mechagodzilla that's not in the movie you just saw. So I was overly excited for the Mechagodzilla figure, and then my excitement kind of jumbled up with, oh my god, Ghidorah's in the movie.
Oh, yeah. As the wait for the movie happened, though, we got, like, better shots of, like, an idea of what Ghidorah would be like, just like the trailers. And the form of Ghidorah in this film was very odd, to say the least. Like, okay, I understand why this is animated.
Yeah.
Because there's absolutely no way they could pull that thing off in live action.
He's an angry space noodle.
Yeah, basically. Spaghetti monster.
Flying
semi-holographic
multi...
Oh my god, he's literally the flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah, but semi-holographic,
yeah.
interdimensional flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah, okay, I mean, we'll get to this when we actually get to that, what I was gonna say there. Anyway, but, like, just looking at him in the form, like, that's a very interesting form. Hey, they can actually do some really cool stuff with this thing. But then I had a thought about this and realized, wait, how the hell are they gonna make a toy out of that?
Well, they could have.
And like this is when we like actually knew each other, so we were actually talking to each other at this point. We were friends. Yeah. It's like, hey Rob, how the hell are you gonna make a toy out of that?
Okay.
And like you were trying to come up with something, and I was just like, not well. It's not gonna be that good, is it?
Didn't I say something about clouds? And how, like, clouds would be the base of the figure? Or am I just...
I don't know. I think we were talking about sonic forces when we had this discussion, too.
Oh, God, yeah. Then who the hell knows?
It was just sprung up. I don't know. What were you about to say?
About what?
Was it just a cloud thing?
Yeah, I think, like... The way I saw it in my head was because at this point we saw that he was coming out of a void in the sky. I thought, like, oh, maybe it would be like 3 separate figures sold together and they would all be like coming out of an orb or a cloud and the base of the figure would be the orb. Something like that. But little did we know. Little did we know. Once those little booklets made the rounds onto the internet, we found out that Ghidorah would appear in his final 3-headed, 2-winged, multi-legged body.
For 2 seconds.
Multiple times.
Twice.
A couple of times.
I don't remember. It was 2 days ago and I don't remember.
I'm just saying a couple because I think it actually was just 2.
Yeah, I think it was literally 2 times that were each like a split second.
Let me put it this way. You hear Ghidorah more than you see him in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like.
And they used the original show of World War II.
Yeah. And I like that it was kind of used as like ambience in the background. I thought that was cool. And it makes sense why we didn't hear Ghidorah roar in the movie or see it. But we'll get to that really quickly.
But then like they showed the actual figure of it, and I'm like, oh, I was right. I know how are they gonna make a toy out of it? Not well.
When I first saw those pictures, I was so confused. I'm like, whoa, hold up real quick. Why does he look like a banana? Why does he look like a translucent banana?
Oh, everyone's having a field day with that one.
Oh, yeah. But then I actually got the figure in, and he's actually pretty cool. Could have used a little bit.
My issue with that is just that it's just one solid color, and there's no way that would look good on a shelf. At least where I have things.
Yeah. Like, I have a hole in one of my shelves, so I kind of just put the little tag, like not the actual tag, but like the plastic that, you know, they hang the figures up on in Japan. I just put that through there so it looks like he's kind of flying. I definitely think I could have used a little bit more of that, like, copper, silver paint, whatever color it was they used on the top of the figure. That way you could have actually seen the details and seen that he's not just one solid piece of gelatin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it looked that great.
I mean, it's definitely the weakest Godzilla figure we've gotten recently. I like that it's big, though.
Yeah, we say that, but then I feel like some people who do explicitly monster might disagree with you just because of how much they're paying for it.
Well, how much... Wait.
Well, how much did the Mechagodzilla vinyl cost?
Ooh, that was
like, what...
That was almost $100 just because I had to use a proxy site just to get it because it was a Bandai Premium exclusive.
Oh.
Which means, yeah.
I thought it was just like a generic one that you find in the stores for like $20.
No, its street price was like $44.90 something.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was literally only $40. That's why when I saw these things popping up on eBay for $90,
only 40. What? No.
Yeah, only 40, because people started charging upwards of 99 to 150 for it.
That's stupid. I thought it was just like a general release one in Japan.
No. So I had to pay for the figure, then I had to pay for the proxy site, because the proxy site bought the figure, and then shipped it to me. So then I had to pay for shipping. So altogether it came, well, let's see. I paid for the figure and I paid for the service all at the same time. That was like $60. And then the shipping, which was months and months later, I think that was like $50 just to get it within the week that it shipped.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, any interest I had in getting the Ghidorah, it just went from 1% to -5%.
I'll just wait for Rob to get it and make an inevitable video on it.
I'll just wait for NECA in 12 years from now.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that NECA would do anime figures.
Well, I think the licensing for the anime films is weirder because, like, the multiple studios and Netflix.
Yeah, so that's never going to happen, more than likely.
I don't really, because I haven't really gotten into this, but I don't really care about Godzilla's actual appearance in the anime films. It just looks kind of generic to me. It's all too just one color.
Yeah, I mean, the figures in and of themselves, they're different shades of the same color, so they kind of break up a bit. But
well, from what I understand, the newer Monster Arts has a better paint job than the first one.
Oh, well, fuck
From
Monster
what I
Arts.
understand. I mean, because, like, even though it's the same sculpt and everything, it just had a better paint job, apparently.
Yeah, and it had a different chin. That's pretty much it.
I'm surprised they didn't do a Scarlet Godzilla, though, because there haven't really been anything of that.
Oh, there's a bunch of fan repaints of them. Some really, really good ones. But other than that, no. They just did Phileas and Earth. And, yeah, safe to say that Godzilla is going to be the only one with multiple figures across multiple lines from the anime trilogy to have a release.
Well, I think that's also because you could tell that they were losing faith in the anime trilogy as well. Because, like, there was, like, a big marketing push for the first one in Japan and theaters and everything, all these exclusives. The second one comes out, there's, like, a keychain.
Yeah, there's keychains, there's vinyl cutout keychains, there's coins, there's, like, you know,
That's about it.
paper
It's all,
shit.
like, the cheap paper stuff. Because they knew that no one cared at this point.
And then by the third one came out, we just got the Ghidorah figure.
Granted, I think that's also because, like, they realized that... I think, like... Okay, I think City on the Edge of Battle has recently become, like, the lowest grossing film in the series, beating out Terror recently. But I feel like part of that's also just because Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, why pay all this extra money to go out to a theater to watch this movie when it's coming out on Netflix in 2 months everywhere?
Yeah, so it's like, why bother?
And why did they release Blu-rays and DVDs of it too, even though it's on Netflix?
Well...
And, like, yeah, I get there are Netflix shows that have DVDs and Blu-rays released. Stranger Things, the Marvel shows. I saw that Castlevania Season 1 has a DVD release.
Yeah, it does.
Which makes me think, why is there not a BoJack set yet, guys?
I think they're waiting for the series to, like, end, and then I think they're going to release everything all together.
Okay, they better.
Well, that's what I'm hoping they're going to do for the anime trilogy here in the States, because I want to own those movies on Blu-ray.
I wouldn't mind that, but that also, like, make me think how am I gonna put this on my shelf, because I do it in chronological order. And, like, since the anime series is a separate series altogether,
I just put them in order of the year that they were released.
Actually, I guess I would kind of have to go back to that because Godzilla 2 I have to put next to the 2014.
Yeah.
So I guess it would just be after Shin Godzilla on my shelf.
Yeah. Part of the In Its Own World series, because... Okay, I'm not going to get into how upset I am over Shin Godzilla, but, yeah.
Well, I knew they weren't going to make a sequel to Shin because, like, that's an open and shut story.
I guess so.
I'd rather them keep it at one movie than make a sequel that fails.
Well, if they got Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi back, I don't think the sequel would have failed. So to say.
You really want to take that chance, though?
You're right.
Okay, well, we've been talking like the background for Planet Eater for a while now. Should we just talk about actual Planet Eater now?
Yeah, let's talk about Planet Eater.
Okay, so one of the things I was going to mention is, like, with Ghidorah himself, like, okay, this is like one of the first and only like we've had like Mothra being worshipped and everything before and everything, but like we've never had a monster be like literally a god.
Yeah.
Because Ghidorah is literally established to be a legitimate god in this film.
King of the Void.
And like I'm not just saying like, oh, he's like a powerful monster that they're worshipping because he's sort of playing like, no, he like actually has like god abilities.
Yeah, he can bend space, time, reality, gravity, all of that.
And okay, here's the thing, like we're gonna say, okay, there's no actual fight again in this film, but to be fair, the way they set Ghidorah up, you really can't fight that thing.
Yeah.
Because he's like Godzilla can't touch him.
Yeah.
His hand goes right through him. Ghidorah can bite Godzilla because he has that power, but Godzilla can't touch Ghidorah. He is actually a god.
Yeah. I don't like. I expected, which is 100% my fault. I expected a Godzilla versus Ghidorah fight because there's the Godzilla franchise we're talking about. We're talking about a series that has really gone to the ends of the earth of absurdity at times. And, I thought there would have been like this grand entrance of the real Ghidorah because, they find a way to really like fizz hologram Ghidorah out and everything. And I thought there would have been like this big thing. When in reality, we got the big thing, but that was in the form of the human drama and all of that. To which I'll say the human drama, the story, and everything was fucking great.
It was the most interesting story we probably had in a Godzilla film.
It was definitely the most out there as well.
There's just so many ideas at play with that, and like that whole sequence with Mephis and Haro going for like the flashbacks to dreams and everything.
The Kingdom
that
Hearts
was
moments.
like legitimately interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was like one moment that's just ripped right out of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
You can hear Don't Think Twice playing in the background.
You could, and it was great.
When you walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. You're still made of chrome.
Yeah. There you go, Utada Hikaru. But I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying but. I'm just saying but to say but. But that whole thing with like how Ghidorah was like somewhat being called through Mephis and how his eye turned into the little Ghidorah symbol and shit. That was all just really, really cool stuff.
I guess we should get into the plot first. You know how the Bilslu turned on the humans last time?
They do it again!
This time it's the Exifs.
Oh. Well,
Who could have guessed that the aliens would turn on the humans in a Godzilla movie?
For a second time in the same series.
So, generally, it's been established that throughout the Bilslu are like the more like we want to go to war and fight these things type of people. The Exif have more been like the more passive and religious type. Like they have like mentioned like before in multiple films, they have a god that they worship and like they speak to like prophets and everything.
Yeah, that was red flag number 1 for them.
And in this movie, there's been like an increase in like the religious fervor for them or whatever. I read that off the Wikipedia article to get that word. But like the religion kind of like takes a hold of the humans, and they get some of them to believe in it. So they have like this whole religious shift into it. Which when I first started watching this was, okay, why are there religious overtones in a Godzilla movie?
Well, it's different.
Like, okay, yeah, we've had like people worshiping Mothra and everything before that, but that was more just like the King Kong style worshiping.
Yeah, it wasn't like
we never had like
blown,
outright full-blown religious archetypes here
with preachers and priests and all that stuff. But the way it was used, it was interesting. It wasn't like an eye-rolling moment. Because normally when you introduce religion to a series like Godzilla, it's an eye-rolling moment. But this time...
Though I will say, my reaction to watching the dub trailer the first time a couple days ago, when I heard the line, God will defeat Godzilla, at that point I just wanted to go to bed.
God will defeat Godzilla.
I'm done. No, I heard them like, did they just fucking say that? I'm done.
Jesus Christ himself is going to evolve from King Ghidorah and kill Godzilla.
Though the trailer also confirms some things, though, that, like, okay, so we know, like, there was some speculation that, like, do you think Mephies will turn on them, or whatever?
Yep.
What if they're the ones that summon Ghidorah? And then that trailer just, with the dog, just blatantly confirms that, oh yeah, they're turning on the humans.
Oh yeah, by the way, the aliens are bad in a Godzilla movie.
Though, like, my weird thing was, like, wait, so it's established that Ghidorah is the one who destroyed their planet, but yet they worship him as a god and they put him in a Pokeball for some reason.
Yep, because
why'd they do that?
Because Ghidorah spared certain priests. And from there on, the Exif for, like, praise Ghidorah, praise his name, praise his golden wings and stuff.
Now we're going.
Yeah, that. And now we're going to feed civilizations and whole planets to this guy because he just so happened to spare maybe like a couple 30 of us. Sounds about right.
Like, it's established that they've done this multiple times already, that humanity was just going to be the next one.
Yep. And it kind of blew up in their faces.
Well, in Mephi's case, literally.
Well, in the other guy's case, literally, too, because he was on the ship.
Yeah.
He blew up.
Which, I think that's one also, like, one of the most horrifying things, like, one of the coolest lines in the movie, also one of the most horrifying moments. When Ghidorah is, like, wrapping around the ship and warping space and time, there's one of the last things that happens is, wait, this is showing that there's no sign of life at all here. Are we already dead?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, when they say, like, oh, damn, and then they just blow up.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can imagine, that is horrifying to think about.
That is.
Like, the
I didn't even catch that.
You are already dead.
Holy fuck. And there was a lot of people on that ship, too.
Omaiwa Moi Shindaru. Like, all the exifs that weren't on, like, basically all the exifs besides Mephies were on that ship, too.
Yeah, and they were dumb dead. Super dead.
Which makes me wonder, like, if they did this multiple times, did they know that they were going... Did they, like, okay, we'll do this as the last one? Or something, like, was that the plan the whole time?
I don't know, because it seems like they were just cool with dying by Ghidorah's hand, mouth.
Was, like, Mephies going to be the last survivor? Which, at that point, well, he just blew up the ship. How is he going to get off now?
I don't know. I guess he was just expecting for Ghidorah to destroy the planet and he would go with him.
Or just, like, teleport him somewhere else to do it, I guess. Or give him a new ship.
Or something like that. Who knows? Because Ghidorah is a god this time around. He could probably give you the winning lotto numbers in a different dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, some of this, like, they had, like, cool ideas in this one. That's one of the main things.
Yeah, the Ghidorah thing
like,
definitely being one of the cooler things that happened in the movie.
The whole dream sequence. The movie starts, like, just, like, directly where Planet City on the Edge of Battle left off. They're, like, trying to figure out Horror's punishment for turning on the Bill Saluto, even though the Bill Saluto turned on humans. It's, like, not really sure what they should do. And they're, like, arguing the whole time, and then Ghidorah just blows them up in space.
Yeah.
To get them to shut up.
Yeah. Shut up! Stop arguing! You're dead! Boom.
The one Moffer fairy, I forget her name, kind of sort of has a crush on Haru, and, okay, so, did you see that when I was live tweeting my reactions to the movie?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so, like, at one point when I first saw the scene when she was talking, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what this Godzilla movie needs? Religious overtones, and let's fuck a Moffer fairy. Yep. And then 2 minutes later, she takes her bra off. I'm like, I was joking!
It's not supposed to happen like this! Wait!
You know, no, she actually, like, legitimately falls in love with Haru and tries to sleep with him.
Yeah,
and they do.
Yeah, that was one of the more rushed aspects of the movie. It's like, what led up to this?
I mean, I wouldn't object.
I mean, in all seriousness, if I were in Haru's shoes or his suit at that point, I wouldn't have objectified either.
I mean, hey, my other girlfriend's in a chroma for life. I may as well.
I may as well indulge what's going on here.
And at the end of the movie, it's implied they have a kid, so...
Yeah, they have a kid, and we'll talk about the rest soon. Because, peace with the child support, gal.
But So, the whole fight with Ghidorah, Godzilla really can't touch him at all, so he's mostly just getting bit on, trying to, survive.
So
really,
it's more of an
Haru's the one
encounter.
that's doing more of the fight. Haru is the one that's really doing the actual fight.
Yeah. It's kind of
The
like an
idea is that
Avatar moment.
Haru hates... The main sticking point is that Haru hates Godzilla so much that's giving Ghidorah his power right now. And that essentially Mephis wants to use Haru as like a sacrifice, a carrier, whatever, to bring Ghidorah into that realm legitimately. So like fully bring him into that plane of existence.
Haru was the perfect prayer to summon Ghidorah.
He was the holy vessel.
Yeah. The Paradox Deity vessel.
And then if he had sacrificed himself, it would have caused Ghidorah to show up, kill Godzilla, destroy the planet, and yada yada yada. Whatever the end goal would have been.
Yeah, and his new waifu would have died too.
Well, the whole planet would have just blown up.
Yeah. But you
Which,
you have to...
Oh, that's one thing, when they first summoning Ghidorah and everyone's arms just fall off. Why
Dude,
do they have... They have blue blood.
That was such a cool fucking scene. I loved it. And I think the reason why their blood was blue, I think it was because they were literally being chomped on by a being from a different dimension. So I have a feeling the wound in and of itself would have been multi-dimensional. You get what I'm saying?
I guess.
Like
Wasn't like a thing with blue blood or when it turns red when it's like coagulates or something.
So maybe since he's obviously hurting them
it
from a
just never
different
did
dimension, yeah, it just never coagulated. It could, like,
or something. I don't know.
something.
I'm not a doctor.
That was just such a really, really, really cool scene. I
mean,
loved
that's
that.
that actually is a really effective scene because that's something they do in like a horror movie.
Yeah, and you're literally seeing these people getting chopped to bits, and it was great.
That's an actual thing that they would probably do in a legitimate horror movie.
And they should.
Like, it actually did work really well.
It did. Jordan Peele, hit it up.
Because, like, you don't really see it happening. Like, so, like, how are these people dying just falling over and just, like, the look of terror on their faces for this now? Like, oh, we did something bad.
Yeah. And it was great.
Shouldn't have done that.
Nope. Like, I wish more ideas that had, like, that kind of, like, kick to it were a little bit more present in the other movies, but at the same time, I'm glad they weren't because holy shit, look at this.
This one's the payoff.
Yeah,
I mean, if you did not like the other two at all, you probably wouldn't like this one as much either, but it's still the best of the three.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
The whole middle section with Haru and Mephis is really interesting. I've said that before because I don't really know what really to talk about specifically.
Yeah.
Though, like, one of the way, and like, he almost gets Haru to turn as well. He almost convinces him. The way it gets broken because the Mothra fairies use like their power to like communicate because Mephis, they actually also have telepathic capabilities, so like they were able to talk to them at one point.
Yeah.
So like the Mothra twins, I still don't remember their name.
Mena and Miana.
Yeah, they use their thing to like break into it and snap him out of it, and this involves sending an image of Mothra in there. A cream-colored Mothra just soar through and break it up. Which also, for some reason, in that shot, they're in an old-timey plane.
Because they were witnessing the Hiroshima bombing.
Yeah, which, that was kind of cool, because it's like, oh, hey, we get to see... oh, yeah, that's right, Godzilla is a nuclear allegory. Who would remember? I forgot all about that.
Except technically, in this series, he's...
a plant.
Yeah.
Which, okay, that's something else I wanted to get into. At one point, you have one of the people saying how Godzilla was a result of, like humans and technology or whatever, and they never really elaborate on what they mean by that. So it just sounds to me like they're saying that the iPhone caused Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at certain undertones towards the whole thing, Godzilla doesn't hate the humans. He just hates what they've created. I mean, you really got to think about it, because Godzilla's always been this force of nature. And you know, you see the buildings being covered in moss and everything. The entire planet is essentially just a giant green, very sharp, and very not edible tomato. And in every movie, he attacks, obviously, the humans, but the humans have their technology. What does he blow up in the second one? A big chunk of human technology that was a fucking doppelganger of himself. And now, this time...
He said he's been there for 20,000 years. How did he not see that before?
Because he was asleep.
He has to wake up to eat.
Well, he's part of the he's part of the planet now. He's probably getting nutrients from the planet itself.
Well, he's probably still at least awake and walking around at various intervals. The other one wasn't asleep.
Well, yeah, because that's Godzilla Phileas. He's only like, you know, fucking 50
How did these guys not see this before?
I mean, they never really caught on to Godzilla's intelligence in this series. And since Godzilla Phileas is a smaller, younger version of Big Godzilla, Godzilla Earth, I guess you could say that his little clones probably weren't as smart as him.
You know, I can't really dispute what you're saying either, because the only times Godzilla ever attacks people in these films is when they're in their, like, robot stuff.
Exactly.
Like, how do we know that if, like, Haru just walked up to him in his normal form, he'd be like, hey, Godzilla, you're a bitch. What would he actually do at that point? It's like, oh, okay. Would he have just walked away? Would he even have noticed him?
I don't know if he would have really noticed him.
And then Haru immediately, like, gets on a bike, and then Godzilla's like, oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. Get over here with your technology. Crash.
He's like, hey, Godzilla, what's the weather? Like, oh, no, let me check my phone. What?
Exactly. And, you know, I understand that, like, at the end of the movie, Godzilla's walking around. We don't know if he's, like, looking for humans or anything. Oh,
yeah, that's the other thing. They don't beat Godzilla.
Yeah, they don't beat Godzilla.
Spoiler, they never beat Godzilla.
I mean, that was obviously going to happen. How are they going to beat a 300-meter tall Godzilla?
Well, one of my thoughts was that'd be a mutually assured destruction with both Ghidorah and Godzilla, but then when they set Ghidorah up as, like, a god beast, then you can't really do that either.
Yeah. But I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, at the end of the movie, Godzilla's walking around and he's just chilling, and he attacks, obviously, the vulture that Haruo and Yuko are in, and all that happy stuff. And he just, you know, he resumes about his day. The humans don't have technology. They're just, you know, the space humans. Yeah, they're adapting to the Hotuo's, like, way of life and everything. And obviously I can't say, oh, he just left them alone after that, but it kind of feels like that's what was implied. Just a little bit.
Also, it's probably implied as a very blatant, not really implied, it's blatant, technology bad message. Woo, oh no.
Exactly.
That old story again.
Well, that's going to keep coming up as long as technology gets better.
Yeah, and the reason they're able to make these movies is because of technology getting better. Oops.
Wow. That's an oxymoron.
It's like, I love when, like, you have, like, a TV show or a video game that's saying the technology is bad. Okay, well, how am I playing this game? Technology. Which we kind of spoiled the end there, but, like, what else is there to talk about with the main movie itself?
I mean, we talked about the Godzilla and Ghidorah encounter, the darker tone, the character
he
development.
stabs Mephis in the eye, and that's what beats him up. They should sell eye patches of the Ghidorah logo. So
they totally should.
Cosplay. Okay,
the music
so
was
at the
better.
End of the movie, after Ghidorah's beaten, well, it's established that that Ghidorah will never really die since he's a god, and that as long as Haru hates Godzilla with that burning hatred, he'll never be able to fully destroy Ghidorah. He'll be there always watching. Yep. But, like, months go on, it's implied that months, because it's now spring and flowers are growing somehow, even though there's no regular plants anymore on Earth.
Uh-huh.
But oh well, I'll take it. They got rid of all the guns and plants are growing over them. They're living in a cave, they're adapting. Haru basically married the other Mothra twin.
Not sure which one.
And then it's implied that, and then the one dude, wherever, finds a vulture. Morton finds a vulture, restores it, and says, "Hey, maybe we can rebuild society."
Huh.
And then Haru remembers when Mephi said that Ghidorah will always be there, and that whenever humanity springs back up again, Godzilla would keep trying to destroy it. Ghidorah will come back, yada yada. Even though that would take decades for that to happen.
Yep.
So Haru uses this as a chance to sacrifice himself, and Yuko, since she has the nanometal in her or whatever.
She's basically technology.
And I guess because he still loves her, probably.
More than likely.
So he takes the vulture, flies up to Godzilla, and sacrifices himself because Godzilla sees like, yeah, no, I'm destroying that.
Yeah.
The last shot is on some flowers as the credits roll.
And then we get the end credit scene.
I like that whole speech he gives, though. It's like, Godzilla, if you truly hate me, destroy me. And he's like, bet.
Yeah, bet. Boom! A little bit of dark humor there.
It's like the scene in Predator. Go on, do it! I'm right here, kill me now!
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right here, kill me! Come
on, Godzilla!
Godzilla, you big plant bastard! Get me!
Now! And then you get the post-credit scene, which I had no idea what that was supposed to do at all. I looked it up and said it was apparently like a ceremony honoring Haru or something.
Yeah, his son was there, so...
Yeah. But I was like, why are they at Burning Man?
Yeah. Well, like, they were talking about relinquishing their fears. Like, kids were saying what they were afraid of, and as they were holding whatever they were holding up, like, in their hands, you know, they were like, I'm afraid of blah, 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 blah. And Haruo's son was like, at the end, and end of that little line there, and the one that he had married and impregnated was there. She was watching and all that stuff, so... I could see it. Yeah. I forgot where I was.
Why were they at Burning Man?
I don't know. I guess it's just one of their traditions.
And like, you know that there's not gonna be another one. So what was really the point of the post-credit scene? Like, I knew there'd be one, so I kept watching also just to listen to the song.
Yeah.
But like, I saw that, I'm like, okay, that was a thing. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. I guess like, it was just like a little, like, hey, stuff continues on after this. You won't see it in movies. You might read it in books, but things continue on.
Humanity is now cave people. It's okay. Godzilla is still there.
Here's Haruo and Miyana, or / Meina's son. Here they are. Hey.
Okay, so we already said multiple times that, like, this was the best one.
Yes.
As a whole, with the anime trilogy, would you recommend them?
I would recommend them with a set of words that say, don't expect the norm from a Godzilla movie with these. Expect them to be a little bit slow. Expect to have a bit of a hard time really giving a shit about the characters when it first starts out. And I think you'll enjoy them.
Because I have a problem, because I would not recommend City on the Edge of Battle. The problem is you can't watch Planet Eater without watching City, because you need it to understand what happens.
Yeah.
Because the movie is just exposition, basically.
Yeah,
you need that to understand what's happening in City. It's kind of hard for me to really recommend them in general. Like, I mean, at the end I'm going to be like, they're on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. They're on Netflix.
Yeah, you're not going to,
you're not paying for this. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. So it's
and like, it doesn't matter if you don't like them. Well, The Office is right there, so just watch that.
Yeah. Like, I would not recommend these to be your first Godzilla movie. Like, if you're like
absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely fucking not. But if you've seen like a good chunk of Godzilla movies, like 2 or 3 from each, major series that there was, then go ahead. But it's like, don't be the majority of the Western audience that's always expecting a monster battle,
well, that's just like the safe thing for like the whole series in general, because like there's so many people thinking that, oh, it's gonna be a monster fight, and then they're like, why was there barely any Godzilla in the movie?
Well, that's
and it's like, that's all of them.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla 2014 wasn't in the movie long enough. He was only in there for like 15 minutes. Yeah, well, Godzilla 1954
well, hey, guess
was
what?
only in there for 10.
That's all of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's every movie.
Yeah, and it's
the problem is just the pacing itself.
Yeah,
that makes it feel like they're in there longer.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the anime trilogy, like there's certain points, except in the third movie. I think the third movie with its pacing was really, really good. I just feel pacing for Planet and City, I feel like they were kind of all over the place because something interesting would happen, it would hold on that, and then it would kind of just drivel off into something else, something that you may or may not be interested in. So, like, I would recommend the anime trilogy to people that know Godzilla. I wouldn't recommend it to first-time viewers.
Here's one that I'm gonna get into like the directors right now. So like one of the things that they said, like, they were getting like more people into the series, like specifically more of the female audience. I feel like that was a retrospect thing, because I feel like they weren't really aiming towards anyone in specifically the first time, and it's just kind of like that's just kind of what happened because they were anime. And it's like, these are so drastically different from anything. I don't think you're creating new fans of Godzilla with these films. I just think you're creating fans for specifically these. Because if this is what they like, they probably know that this is not at all what they're going to get with any of the other films. It's going to alienate them.
Good point. That makes a lot of sense.
It's like, I can see like why other people would like these and not the others. I can see, because you said earlier this is just so very heavily anime.
Yeah.
Like if you're already an anime fan, like depending on the kind you are, then you probably might like it more. But it's also, some people also already notice, it's also very trope heavy.
Yeah, like it's
unfortunate. Very middling group. It's a very middle group.
Yeah, because I feel like nearly every anime trope there has kind of been in the movie. I mean, you have the implied romance, you have the obvious romance. You know, you have the implied and obvious romance where they're not going to be together. Then you have the random romance that gets thrown out of nowhere, and it just kind of happens.
You have space fights.
You have space fights. You have, you know, people die.
Science mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, and, you know, tropes and ropes and putting baseball cards in your spokes.
And, okay, one of the other things, I feel like this was kind of blown out of proportion, like how the guys who did this were not Godzilla fans. Which, I'm going to say, I don't think that's inherently a problem.
No, I don't think it's a problem.
You don't necessarily need to be a fan as long as you know what you're doing. Because, like, there are instances of people who, have never seen any of a certain thing they're working on, and then turn out great work anyway, because, like, at that point, they're not held to, like, the standards of the past. They're not, like, expected to do one thing, so they can truly do their own thing. In that regard, that's good. On the other hand, it also means that, like, if they don't care enough about this, they're just going to, at that point, run the risk of, well, is this even a film in this series, then?
You see, the way I put it out, like, there's Roland Emmerich bad, and then the guys that
Roland Emmerich, his movie was still just a giant monster movie.
Yeah, but he didn't like Godzilla at all. Like, you know what I mean? No, he didn't. He thought Godzilla wasn't realistic enough.
Okay, well, that's a Hollywood thing in general.
Yeah, but my main point is, you know, you have people, like, in terms of Godzilla, there's the Roland Emmerich, and then it's these guys. These guys knew what Godzilla was, and to some point, they respected what Godzilla was, and still gave their own twist and made it interesting. So what I'm trying to say is these could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, but that also comes with the opposite truth. These could have been a lot better.
Yeah, they could have been a lot better in many a different ways for many a different people. But at the end of the day, well, you see, I can't even say that. Because that only kind of, like, applies to me. But in my case...
I will say that in that article that we're talking about, one of the big sticking points for a lot of people is how they said no monster battles in this. Like, that's what got people upset. That was some of a mistranslation, though. In reality, what was said was no monster pro wrestling. Which that's what Toho's been doing for years now. What they meant by that was don't do Showa.
Yeah.
Don't do the 70s. Which is what they've been trying to do since the 80s and 90s. What they've been doing so far. The only exception was Final Wars, which was an anniversary special anyway.
Yeah, that was the made-for-TV special. Let's take all of these throwbacks and throw them into a movie. And yeah.
That was kind of the point of the movie, so, like, that's fine.
Yeah. But I think, like, I don't mean to get off track, but I think with the success of Shin Godzilla, with how well it did, I think, you know, obviously that's a great thing to happen for Toho and Godzilla, but I think that really opened Toho's eyes into really just getting weird with Godzilla. Because here we have a Godzilla movie made by the man who made one of the most depressing and most creative anime ever. Again, I guess that's applied by me because I know not everybody feels that way about Evangelion. So it's like, okay, why not get more people like him that have good credits on their names and just let them give their take on Godzilla? You know, like it or hate it, the anime trilogy, I'm glad that it happened because it was something different. It was a different body of work with the name Godzilla.
And I'd like to see them do a Godzilla anime style again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen for quite some time, but I would love to see
I think we need to also get into why these were made. Because we never actually touched on that.
Oh, so
the whole reason that these got made in the first place was because Shin Godzilla was a special case, because like, it was the first one so long, and like they knew that was going to take a while for the next Western film to come out. But then after that, they were like, well, we know that Kong Skull Island's coming out soon, and we know that the other two are coming out soon. We don't want to take away from that and end up competing with ourselves by making another live-action film.
Yeah.
So instead, we'll make some animated films.
That way, there's absolutely no way people could be fucking confused.
Which also, so that means that how people point out these are only made like sell toys and everything. You're not wrong. These are basically just stopgaps to like make the wait slightly easier for the next actual films to come out.
They were essentially placeholders. They were released for the hell of it, which plays into what we said earlier. These movies should have been shows.
Yeah.
Like, had this been like,
they were so rushed to in some ways, like especially City. It's like, if these were shows, you could have done so much more with it.
Yeah, there would have been so much more breathing room for creativity, being able to get all these different ideas out there instead of micromanaging all of it into 3 movies. It could have, like, let's say it was 24 episodes, and it came out the day Planet Eater came out here world fucking wide. 24 episodes, it probably would have been so much better. Just because you can kind of tell that there was some, like, you know, dog-eared ideas within the anime films that weren't, like, fully brought up upon, like Godzilla being plant-based. That was really only mentioned in the first movie, and it was a bare minimum thing. Like, imagine...
It was mentioned in the advertising for the first movie.
Yeah. Now, imagine if this were a show, and we actually got more information on why, how, and what could be done with that. Like, people
it would need to be 24 episodes at a minimum, too, because, like, if you only do 12, you're not really adding much that the films already didn't have.
I mean...
if that's basically the same runtime for arc as each film already is.
Yeah. Like, I would definitely say, across the 3 movies, this probably would... Like, if they broke it up, it probably would have been 12 episodes of a normal anime.
Yeah, it obviously would need to be 24, so you can actually, like, properly expand on it.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of Godzilla fans think that this is just pure waste, it's pure garbage, it's shit. It's not.
I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just missed opportunities and just disappointing.
I would call it more of a missed opportunity than a waste, because at the end of the day, you know, we got merchandising out of this. We got 3 new Godzilla movies to see. Whether you like them or not, that's still something that you could look forward to, depending on what kind of person you are, I guess.
And I would like to see, like, a 2D animated Godzilla film at some point. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. I mean, Godzilla, you could put him in practically anything, and I'd go see it. You can make a 1950s
Why isn't there a
style
Godzilla Christmas film yet?
Oh, God.
What? Why isn't there a Godzilla Christmas film yet?
Listen, Will. We have the Star Wars Christmas special. That pretty much speaks for every major brand getting a Christmas special on TV.
You see, you say that, but the Toy Story one was fine because that turned into He-Man.
You're right. In that case, hey Toho, let's get a 25-minute Godzilla Christmas special next year.
Animated stop motion.
Oh God, that would be fantastic.
Do it. They can
Do
act.
it.
I mean, hey, they're still using miniatures.
Technically, they are.
You know, they could probably actually just use a Monster Arts figure for that.
They probably could. They could probably
Like,
just use one of the prototypes.
They probably just got like a slightly more advanced Monster Arts figure for Godzilla himself, and just use like miniatures, and actually light them on fire when they need to.
By all means, I'd watch it.
It'd probably be like a Showa-style thing. Like, I can't see them doing like a serious Godzilla Christmas special like that. No, it'd have to be like Showa-based.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see a Godzilla Christmas special being taken seriously by anybody.
Oh no, the Zillions have kidnapped Santa Claus and built an evil robotic kaiju with a Santa hat. No, it's like, it's Crystalak as a robot snowman.
And he's trapped the essence of Christmas within his crystallized mechanical body. Quick, Godzilla, you have to beat him so Christmas can be had by everybody across the world.
How Mothra saved Christmas.
Part 1.
The next one comes out next Halloween. Why Halloween? I don't know. I don't know. Why is one of the most popular Christmas icons a fucking skeleton?
You're right. You're very right. Huh.
So we got into that. One of the next things to talk about. One of the big marketing aspects of the film were the theme songs by the Japanese artist Zai.
What?
There were 3 songs. There was Whiteout for Planet of the Monsters, The Sky Falls for Sitting on the Edge of Battle, and Live and Die for Planet Eater.
Yes, sir.
Rob, which one was your favorite?
Well, I can twist this in many different ways. The Whiteout release just had more music to it. But in terms of just singular songs, my favorite is Live and Die, like the number 1. My second favorite is Whiteout. My third favorite is The Sky Falls.
My favorite is The Sky Falls, then Live and Die, and then Whiteout.
Whiteout as a release...
Say what you were going to say?
Whiteout as a release, though, was probably the best release, just because it came with a bunch of B-sides, instrumentals, and a remix, so... I was just wanting to throw that out there for the musical aspect.
I'll link one of the album reviews up in the card.
I've reviewed all of them.
You can find all of them on this channel.
Yeah! But anyway.
So, like, the reason I like Skyfalls more than Whiteout is because at core, they're both very similar songs. Like, to me, it just feels like the Skyfalls is basically a Whiteout again, but there's more to it.
Yeah, the instrumentation for the Skyfalls is much more layered. It's got a little bit more going on than Whiteout. I would definitely say that.
It's also a faster song because, like, so much of Whiteout's also more build up and slower.
Yeah, because
like the part you hear in the trailer, the part you heard in the trailers is like just one part of the song. Like, it wasn't even the full chorus. It was just that one instance of it, and the rest is much slower and somber.
Yeah, which is why I like it, because I like sad shit. So
yeah, I prefer faster, heavier stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Skyfall more. And like Live and Die, it's a very different song. It's like it's more rock based because the other two are very firm pop.
Yeah.
But like Live and Die was almost more rock based. Like it still had its slow moments and everything. Like it's still a slow. Like all of them are much slower songs, really.
Yeah.
If you listen to them.
But
Which I recommend. I do recommend you like listen to each of them at least once.
Yeah.
Reminder they're all Japanese because of course they are.
Yeah. I just feel when it comes to representing the movies, Live and Die did it better because
Oh yeah.
Planet Eater's
I
a
think it did the
depressing
best.
fucking sad movie.
Well, yeah, because
So-
everyone dies, and yeah, Live and Die. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But when it comes to like not talking about representation of the movies and just being a good song, I feel the same for Live and Die. Just because, wow, it's different from the first two. Really different.
Yeah. So that's the songs. Alright, well, is there anything else to talk about with these guys?
Planet Eater also has the better score. Like,
Oh, that's the one thing I forgot to mention. We were talking about the score, how you thought that, when you mentioned that earlier. How that each one felt that, like, the Planet Monster score was just kind of generic.
yeah.
Sitting on the Edge had, like, the more techno influence. I felt like this score was right out of a Showa film.
That's why I liked it. It encapsulated the moment, but it also somewhat encapsulated the drama and the genre of it all.
Like it felt like the score to a Showa Godzilla film.
Yeah, it felt familiar, but at the same time, it felt like a new familiar, like an updated familiar.
Yeah.
Like Planet, I remember getting the soundtrack for Planet of Monsters because I was originally going to do a review for it, and I cannot get through that soundtrack. It's boring. Like it's really, really boring.
It's a
Meanwhile-
generic orchestral film score.
Yeah. Meanwhile, City on the Edge of Battle, like you said, it had like that it had that.
Well, it had a
Techno-
couple of techno songs, yeah.
Yeah, and it had.
And then you
more
had
of
this
a-
one, and then you had this one which felt like an actual Godzilla score.
Yeah. So, Planet Eater is really the best out of the three in every which way.
Yeah.
Except
Overall, the Anime Trilogy, I would say, is probably like a 6.5. I would say that, like, Planet Eater's probably like a 7.5, Planet Monster's like a 7, and then City on the Edge of Battle is like a 5.
I'm trying to think. Did I give a rating for Planet of the Monsters? Well,
Do you do ratings?
with movies, yeah, but I don't think I actually rated City on the Edge of Battle, and I didn't rate Planet Eater. I'm not sure if I rated Planet of the Monsters, but anyway, like, as a whole, I would probably, like, give it a 6.5 as well, or a 7, just because the third one really, really impressed me. Separately, I would give Planet Eater, normally I do 1 to 5, but I'll do 1 to 10 here. I would give Planet Eater an 8. I would give City on the Edge of Battle, like, a 6. And I would give City on the Edge of Battle a 5, like you. And I would give Planet of the Monsters, I guess, a 6. I don't know. I really didn't have anything prepared for that.
Oh, no, I didn't either. I just said that off the top of my head. I did not anticipate that you actually respond to that at all.
Oh, well, that's how I feel.
I just came up with those numbers off the top of my head right now. I did not really think about that at all. I just like, I guess I had to do this. I'd give it a this.
Well, you threw me off my axis point there.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's really all we have to say about the Anime Trilogy.
Yeah, for the most part.
All we had to say, says William, after he's been recording for over 2 hours.
I've got 2 hours and 11 minutes.
So, also, I hope you guys noticed that I rebranded the movie discussion thing, because last time we talked about the Sonic poster and the Godzilla 2 trailer, I didn't have a title for these yet, so I just called it Movie Talk. Then I remembered, oh wait, I came up with a name for a film series like 2 years ago. So I decided, hey, maybe I should actually use that.
Yeah!
So I'm not sure what the next topic's going to be about. I'm not sure who I'm going to have with me. It could be Rob again. It could be more people. One person, I don't know.
What's the next
we'll
major
see what the
movie
future
that's coming
holds.
out?
Oh, well, it's just like anything that we need to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think the next one might be a follow-up to the Halloween Horror Reviews episode for Halloween 2018 since the Blu-ray's coming out soon.
Ooh.
Like, I'll have to talk to Isaiah about that one, but that might be the next one, like a follow-up on the movie, talk about the special features and everything, like, because there were deleted scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta pick that up myself.
Because the Blu-ray comes out on Tuesday, I don't know if this video will be up by then, it might be out earlier, it might be about later. Because I'm not uploading this video until after I'm finished the first part of the Godzilla Kaiju ranking list.
Yes!
Like, hopefully that video comes out next week, early next week, if not this weekend, and this will go up probably, like, immediately after, because I'm not going to edit this till after that either, but, like, this is going to be really easy to edit. If you're wondering how easy it is to edit podcasts, the answer is probably pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, other people, like, take care, like, cut out, like, gap moments and, like, normalize the audio.
Yeah, that's what we did when I was a part of a podcast.
But, like, it really isn't that much.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
If I wanted to be really lazy, I would just, like, sync the 2 audio clips up and then put the picture on and call it a day.
Yeah, and upload a 2-hour-long video.
Well, I mean, this is still going to be, like, over 2 hours, about 2 hours anyway.
Yeah.
If you made it this far in, good job. You deserve a cookie. So go out to the store. So go out to the store right now and buy yourself some cookies.
Or come to New Jersey and I will personally buy you a cookie.
They don't even know where you live.
They know I live in New Jersey.
Rob lives at name and address withheld.
Redacted.
William, what's your phone number? Okay, 123 456 7890.
330-555-0125.
And the 3 numbers on the back of my credit card are 666.
6, 2, and 3.
I live at 123 Fake Street.
I live in a
Happy
spaceship.
holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. How you doing?
They ended weeks ago.
Oh well.
I guess that's all I have to say. Rob, say who you are again, your channel, quick.
Hi, I'm Rob from Shin Rob Jira. Hope you enjoyed.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, everybody.
Don't die.
Yeah, please don't.